Welcome to the Autosportradio.com 2017 show. Tonight we are presented as always by Honda HPD, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and the Verizon IndyCar Series. A couple of things to note. I've been asked numerous times, strangely enough, where was Connor last week? Connor was making a program for the Food Network. Now, I should have been there because I'm the one that eats, but that didn't work out. That's where he was. He didn't have his phone, and when he got it, he didn't think to look to see where he was supposed to be. He went home and Nana, I guess. But he'll be here, not a problem. Don't forget this coming weekend, the Verizon IndyCar Series at ABC Supplies 500 from Pocono International Raceway, a.k.a. the Tricky Triangle. Practice starts on Saturday, and you can catch the practice and the qualifying at race control at indy.indycar.com. You can listen to Mark Janes and his trusty gang. And the race will televise live on NBC Sports Network on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Qualifying is at 1 o'clock, and it will be televised live as well. So don't mess up and miss it. Make sure you catch it. Are you a genius with a computer like me? Obviously, I'm not. You need to go to Computer Overdrive. They're located at the northeast corner of Lyndhurst and Crawfordsville Road next to a barber shop, so while you're working on your computer, you can get a haircut. Call Jack, tell him what your problem is, and he can help you get it fixed. It's 317-328-0766. And the grandson was here last weekend, and he is a computer yoo-hoo. I bought an Amazon Echo. 4 hours I spent and couldn't do doodly squat. I set him down, turned my computer on. Before I was out of the room, he had it working. So obviously, I'm not good. If you need help, get it. If you haven't seen the Floyd exhibit yet, I got books up here that'll tell you about it. You need to get to the Speedway and see it. These two ladies will love to see you there. And it's a great exhibit. You'll be amazed at what they have on display. Now, my first guest. A little difficult to get because my email doesn't go to Ganassi. I don't know why, unless I got smart and said, let's block this guy. But I do have text. And I had heard about this young lady, and it just dawned on me after reading her, I got to get her. Try. And I did. She is an assistant engineer on the Chip Ganassi Racing number 83 Norvo Nordisk car driven by none other than the irrepressible Charlie Kimball. I'm very interested to talk to this lady how she got there and why. And she's got an education I can't spell. But anyway, here she is. I'm happy to have her here. Please welcome Danielle Shepard.
Thank you so much, Don.
Now, as I read your bio, it said your first race was in Cleveland. I'm thinking, where in the world would be a racetrack in Cleveland other than Burke Lakefront? That was your first race, IndyCar race?
That was the first one that I went to.
Well, that's all we care about, what you went to.
Yeah, first one.
I mean, at 5 years old, you're looking at cartoons.
I might have been 6.
Okay. She's 6. When did the bug grab you that you wanted to get involved in motorsports in some fashion or manner?
Well, to make it a career, I decided that freshman year of college.
Oh. What took you so long?
I don't know. I mean, as a child, I rode my bike around the house pretending I was Michael Andretti. So I've had the bug for a while, just not necessarily as a career, like an end career goal. And that really started freshman year of college.
And you graduated from Worcester College.
Yep.
And you have a degree in math and physics.
Yes.
I'd ask you what physics is, but I'd be embarrassed because you'd know, and I wouldn't have a clue. What was your first job when you got out of school? And you got a job right away.
Yeah, I got a job right away, and I worked with a company that makes liquid crystal writing tablets called Kent Displays in Kent, Ohio.
Well, as I told you, the only thing I know about crystals, when you put a beer glass in a freezer and it comes out, it's got crystals on it. What is it that they make that we would recognize? The screen? What?
So they make a product called a boogie board.
Oh, sure.
And, I mean, you can buy them Walmart, anywhere, and so it's kind of like a tablet, and you can write down notes on it, everything, and then you press a button, sends a voltage through it, and clears the screen. So it's kind of like a notepad jot down type thing, and then they also have a product that will save what you write down, and then you can clear it. So it uses liquid crystal technology as a writing tablet.
Now, according to your bio, while you're dutifully working for this company, you're spending your off time sending resumes out looking for somebody to say, come on and join us. How long did it take you?
It took 10 months after. So I had done a little bit of work in college trying to find positions and just people in the industry that would talk to me and give me any information about it. But it took 10 months after graduating. So I had the job in Kent for 10 months before
And the first
I
job,
got the knock.
the answer when you knocked on the door was from whom?
KV Racing.
And what did you do for them?
I was a DAG for them. So it's a similar, it's the basic engineering position. And so I worked on all the sensors and did the electronics and everything on that. So jumped right into it.
Jeez. You didn't have anything to do with them closing the doors, did you?
I hope not. Not that they
And
tell
what-
me, at least.
And when they did, who comes prancing down the road but Chip Ganassi,
Oh, yeah.
offering you a job?
Yeah.
What intrigues you the most about being an engineer on a race car? What do you like the best about it?
Each day you wake up, you have a new problem to solve. Same thing doesn't break twice. Something's always different. Something's always new. It's always a challenge. You got a set period of time where you have to get it done, get it ready to go, get it racing. It's never the same day twice. So I like mixing it up. I like the challenge of it.
Are you involved in the setup of the car?
I have to make sure the car is ready to go before it rolls out of the shop, yeah.
Okay.
Sensors, electronics, all have to work.
And when Charlie gets in and starts complaining, does he complain to you or you go, oh, not again?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants things different or things are wrong, it's my job to make them right.
Boy, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
But it's fun, I bet, isn't
Oh,
it?
it is.
What's it like sitting up on that scoring stand, watching and listening to what's going on and calculating when the stop is, what we can do, what might be better, what he's not happy with? What's it like sitting up there?
Keeps you on your toes. I mean, when he comes out, you have your data and everything, but you never quite know what he's going to say. You never quite know what's going to work and what isn't going to work. You never quite, I mean, you can go out and have an idea and see what's happening, but as you get the real-time data back, you have to make adjustments, or when he comes and figure out, like, on my end, I obviously don't engineer the car, but I have to make sure all the sensors work and that he's happy with everything and that there's no issues with the running of the car that I see in the sensors. So that's my position and my job. So, and make sure he has enough fuel and call him in at the right time and everything. So that's...
You're the fuel person?
I'm the fuel person.
Oh, boy.
I'm the fuel person.
That one's got to be a tough one, I would think.
It's just being prepared.
Yeah. But if you listen to the DVD that they gave out when you bought tickets to this year's race, and they told Alexander, you got to get 4 point some miles a gallon, he said, you've got to be kidding. What would Charlie say if you told him, listen, we got the lead, we got to get 4.5 miles a gallon?
You'd have to ask him. I have no idea.
Do the teams share information? I mean, if somebody's got something to work, will they tell you about it and you guys look into your car and see if we can make a change?
Within the 4 Ganassi cars?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We work together as a team. The goal is to make the 4 cars the best 4 cars we can, and the best way to do that is to take a day to take information, take what works for one driver and see what their comments and feedback are and apply it where we think it would work, and then use their comments and everything, whether it applies or doesn't apply, and how to go from there. So yeah, it's a 4-car team effort. It's not 4 1-car teams. It's one team running 4 cars.
Well, I'm sure you've run across this. Scott will have a car and he said, man, this feels great. You put it on somebody else's car and say, geez, what a dump. The driving
Right.
styles and what drivers like is night and day, almost, I'm sure, between the 4 guys you got.
Right, yeah. Just because one thing works for one driver, it doesn't necessarily work for another driver, but you can get their comments and what they say about it and say, okay, well, he's complaining about this here, and this helped him here, so maybe that will fix this one problem. But just because it's the magic setup for Scott Dixon doesn't mean it's the magic setup for Charlie Kimball either. So the setups vary between drivers and their preferences, but you can use their comments and feedback as one of the tools to tune the car.
But you should be familiar enough with your driver when somebody gives you some information. Oh, Charlie wouldn't like this. You know him well enough to know, no, that's not for him.
Well, yeah, you can do that, and even looking at the data and stuff that you've got. I mean, I'll go out and have a 1 practice session, so you can look at his data compared to somebody else's data and see where there's differences between them and differences in driving style, and what might help one might not help the other, but you can see how it changes in the data and use that as a tool to help. adjust the car.
Is this where you are currently? Is it what you thought it would be? Is it more difficult? Is it more fun? Is it nerve-wracking? Is your hair? No, not my hair fell out. What's it like for you?
What's it like? It's a lot of fun, but there's a lot of work too. It's not. You don't do it because you don't do it if you don't love it. So you have to love it to be there, and it is a lot of work, and there's a lot of making sure what you do is right and making sure that everything that you have to get done, but it's a lot of fun.
And then you get to work for Mike Hull. That's got to be good.
Oh yeah, he's a
a
great
good guy.
boss.
Great
guy.
Smart man too.
Yeah.
As a young girl, when you got kind of hooked on racing and thought this might be kind of fun, is the engineering part what you were looking at? Did you ever think about driving?
Nope.
You got better sense than that? Oh my goodness, look at that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I never thought I'd be a driver. Always wanted to do the engineering side.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, you've got a degree from Worcester in math and physics. My dad told me from when I was a little kid, the most important thing you can ever learn is mathematics, because everything evolves around it. Everything.
Yep.
I don't care cutting the grass. A little extreme there, I suppose. But you told me when we were talking, you love mathematics.
I do. I love math.
What do you like best about it?
What I like best about it?
That's the same thing I like, too.
Well, when you can go through and solve a math problem and step by step show how each move takes you one step closer to the answer and you finally get to the answer, I like working out an entire problem and doing a proof of how why a theory is a theory, and to come up with an answer and step by step complete a project. I like that aspect of it and the logic that goes behind it.
Is there a lot of that involved in race cars?
The same processes, yeah.
Well. Have you found it difficult to get into? Let's face it, racing is a male-dominated sport. There's no question about that. Now, there's been some fantastic women drivers, very good, extremely good, actually. And I know there's a gal, and I can't think who she worked for. I had her here 5, 6, 7 years ago. Has been a crew member for quite some time. I think she still is. But have you found it difficult to fit in?
No.
No?
No, not really.
Okay. If a young girl came up to you and said, how can I accomplish, I want to be something, how can I accomplish it, what would you tell her?
Be persistent, follow your dream, and work hard.
Do you think there's anything that a young girl or young kid, but a young girl in particular, can't accomplish if they try?
No.
And you tried for 10 months.
I tried for 10 months, yes.
That's amazing. I think, it's fun. What's it like when you get a win, when your driver wins a race?
It's one of the best feelings you'll have in your life.
All right.
It really is, though, to stand there and look up at the screens and have finished your last pit stop and have 10 laps to go and have a 2 or 3 second lead and know that your driver out there, you're confident, obviously, in the skills that your driver has. So it's one of the best feelings to realize that you're going to win a race.
Carl, is that true?
Till the checkered flag flies, it ain't over.
That's right, and he's got a 500 ring to prove it. I let him borrow mine. When you think about it, you think racing cars, high speed, dangerous sport, all the things that can go wrong, and there's a female that can't wait to get into it and loves it. Do people look at you and say, you do what?
Yeah.
Or ask you, I should say, look at you.
Yeah, they do. I mean, most people are excited by it. I mean, it's an exciting thing. It's a great sport. It's great to be a part of it, and it's something people find interesting, and I of course find it interesting.
I hope so. And Chip is counting on that too. I know I got hooked on racing way, way back. And although I am getting dilapidated and so forth, I should quit, but I love it. I mean, the people in it, the teamwork that takes to do it. I mean, the driver is a quarterback, but there's a whole team that makes him look good.
Yeah. It's not just one person. It's a full team, and I think sometimes people don't realize the amount of teamwork and the amount of preparation and work that actually goes into it. And it's so much that it brings you together as a team. There's no weaklings on the team. Everybody pulls their own weight. Everybody's there because they want to be there, and everybody's there doing the best job that they can for the team.
When I came here the first time in 1961, I think it was, that was after they had rubber band drive, but engines when I got here. And I thought they just rolled the car off, put it in the garage, dusted it off, went on the track until I saw they pull it in the garage, take it apart. And they used to measure with string. And I helped a guy, I won't go into that, but you string set the car. You got the toe and all that. It was all done by string, measurement. And they go out and run the car for, on the weekend. They come back in the garage Monday and tear the whole thing apart again. I said, you didn't hit anything. Well, we don't know that. So they take the whole thing apart. And that was the day when you built your own engines.
Yeah.
You heard about that.
I've been told there's stories about it.
There are a lot of them. Most of them not true, but it was a fun thing, and a lot of people are upset, well, they've changed this and they've changed that, and it's not the same. That's true. I was here when it was said mathematically impossible to go 150 miles an hour at the Speedway. I was there when they broke it.
Yeah.
And it went on from there.
Yeah.
Then it's not likely to go over 200. When Tom Sneva did it, they said he can't do it. Yes, they did. And now look at it. The qualifying record's, 238? And could go higher if they wish. Have you had a chance to look at the new 2018 car yet?
I've only seen what you guys have seen.
Well, I was sitting on a wall at the Speedway.
Oh, there was a display car at Mid-Ohio as well.
Oh, well, I didn't go.
I can't. You didn't come to Mid-Ohio?
No. By the time I got from my car down to the track, the weekend would have been over. So I decided that wasn't a good idea. From what you heard, do you think it's a good move on the series to try and make it easier for companies to come in?
I think adding people and more competition is always a good thing.
The only thing that I objected to is I was standing along the pit wall, and the car went by, and I saw about that much. Zip. Gee, that's kind of cool. Take the camera off the car, you wouldn't see it. But I have to say, when the DW12 came out, I asked the question, are you sure it'll perform? Oh, yeah, the computer says spot on. They got to the Speedway and spot on my foot. This time I asked Jay, are you sure the car's going to run? He said, technology's never driven a car. We wind tunnel tested it. We know it'll run. And by golly, they got here and it did. It ran well, and it's run well so far.
It has run well so far.
And the drivers say this is going to be more fun than a box of chickens. The dirty air has been eliminated. The downforce is on the bottom of the car. There's not as much. He said you're going to be able to race. Hopefully, and it was announced, was released an article I saw today, I think, about changing specs on the engine to make it more friendly for engine manufacturer, because both Honda and Chevy would like to have another one, I'm sure. So they're looking, what does it take to grow the series? I know there's a couple of, Harding Racing will be at Pocono. I don't know if they're going to Gateway or anything, but they're looking to run full-time next year with possibly 2 cars. Juncos is probably looking at it. So there could be 3 or 4 new teams come in, which would be great.
Yeah, that would be great. Get more people in, get more people involved, get more competitors in there.
It's more people Charlie to beat.
That's true. When he comes in first, he's passed that many more cars.
That's true. And I'm not sure what he does for Novo Nordisk, but he's on the road with them all the time.
Yeah, he's a great spokesperson for diabetes.
Without question, yes, without question. Good, and a good guy. Yeah. And were you with him when he took the passenger car ride around Gateway?
I wasn't there.
Oh. But he said, "Boy, is that smooth." Were you guys test down there?
Scott ran down there.
Yeah.
But Charlie hasn't gotten to yet.
Were they holding him back, afraid he's going to whoop everybody? So what was the feedback that Scott had? I know everything I read about, they said that track is as smooth as a baby's behind.
Yep.
It's got a lot of good grip.
Yep.
And they were running.
Everybody's, much better now.
And they were running close to 200 miles an hour, I understand, which is amazing.
That's impressive
It'll be fun to watch. What have you been to Pocono? Have you run to Pocono?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yep.
How do you like that?
I think it's a gorgeous area.
Yeah, it is.
It's an interesting track too.
The tricky triangle.
Yep. What turn 4?
Yeah. I was at the first race, and the streets weren't finished yet coming in. The grandstands weren't done on Friday. They were still working on that. And having been an electrician, I'm wandering around looking, and I realized they did, and they had metal stands, probably still do, and they weren't grounded. I grabbed the contractor. I said, "You got a problem? What's that?" I said, "You haven't grounded any of this." "How do you know?" "Because I walked the whole place." That's how. Oh, and it was right. The next day, morning I come in, they had them all grounded. But it was fun. What is your goal? Do you want to be the chief engineer on a car? Is that what you're aiming at?
Yep, that's the end goal.
How much experience can you get where you're going now that will give you the knowledge you need to step up?
I would hope a lot. That's the goal. I mean, there's a lot of great race engineers at Ganassi now that I feel I can learn a lot from. There's a lot of great assistant engineers at Ganassi that I feel I can learn a lot from. They are willing to give us opportunities to learn and grow, and they're willing to provide us with teachable moments, ability to grow, ability to learn more, and so that's all I can hope for.
And Chip likes it when you make a move that it's the right one. He doesn't get real happy if you go oops.
Nobody wants to go oops. Nobody's really happy when they go oops. So.
Yeah, that's true. It's too bad that Kyle Larson isn't in an IndyCar, although I suspect at some point he may be. But the list of drivers that Ganassi Racing has is probably some of the. I mean, Scott Dixon is, I don't think any doubt, one of the best drivers ever. And I think the way that his operation, not Scott's, but Chip's operation runs under Mike Hull, it's really a slick moving operation, and I'm assuming that you can ask the questions that you need so that when you do move up, you've got the answers and have worked with it.
Oh, yeah.
They're willing to help you.
Oh yeah, yeah. They provide a wonderful working environment.
Well, that's good. Where in the world? Stupid question. Where's Worcester?
It's in Ohio.
Where?
A little bit north of Mid-Ohio.
Oh, I see. And what is their claim to fame?
So to graduate, I had to do an independent study. So their claim to fame is a senior thesis project, a year-long senior thesis project to graduate.
And what was your thesis on?
I did a CFD project.
A what?
Computational fluid dynamics
That's
project.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Why did I ask? Are you going for? Have you got a master's?
I don't.
Are you going for one at some point, or? I see.
Who knows?
Wouldn't it be neat to walk in and say, "Please welcome Dr. Danielle Shepard"? Wouldn't that be cool? You're young enough, you could whip it. There's 8 months in between races.
Yeah, that's long enough to get a PhD, right?
Well, I would think so. It's interesting to me the people in the sport. I think in all the years that I've been around, the best teams, best team efforts, the best show of what a team is and what it can accomplish is in motorsports. I mean, let's face it, if some guy misses a block, poor Andrew might get knocked down, go boom. If somebody doesn't put a wheel on right in the car and it takes off and it falls off, that ain't good. If he gets out on a track and it falls up, hit the wall, that's even worse.
Yeah.
So everybody has to have their job, and they have to do their job because the guy steering the car depends on that.
Yep. Yeah, everybody's a crucial part of the team. Nobody's, like I said, nobody's a weak link, and everybody's there because they want to be. Nobody's.
Do you think that the amount of time and effort that the crews put in is a little over the top?
No.
You're not married, though, are you?
Hmm?
You're not married, are you?
I'm not.
So you don't care. You got nobody to answer to. If you get home at midnight.
I'm just making the car go faster.
But there is a lot of hours that are put in it. And I say, when I first came around, I didn't realize, and it's probably worse now. And you unbolt the engine, take out, put another one in, but there's still all that harnesses and all that stuff. And now they move the radiators on the new cars. And holy Toledo. Oh, well.
Yep.
Again, if a young kid and girl in particular, your advice to them is don't give up.
Don't give up. No.
Shoot for it.
Go for it. What's holding you back? Nothing.
That's the neat thing about being American. You can do anything you want. If you try hard enough, you can accomplish it. See, look where I am. What does that tell you? Well, all right, never mind. Forget I asked the question. Try harder. Who said that? Try harder. Oh, boy. Well, I'll tell you what. It's been very interesting talking to you. I'm very happy that you were able to take that. When do you leave for Pocono?
Friday morning.
Friday morning?
Friday morning.
Are they making you drive, or is Chip going to put you in his plane and go?
We got a plane. We're flying.
I see.
Flying to Pocono.
Okay. I wish you nothing but the best. It's been very interesting talking to you, and I know that these people are very interested. Who's she? Come in and see. Read the bio. You're a very interesting young lady, and my hat is off, although I'm not wearing one, that you stuck to what you want to do, you pursued it, and you got it. Now, up you go.
Yep.
Sounds like fun.
It's been a lot of fun, and it's going to keep being fun.
And if Charlie can win this weekend, it'll be even more funner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully one of these days, Charlie will get free from Kim and be able to come here. So, anyway, thanks for coming here.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you, and congratulations on sticking to your goal and starting as a young kid in 10 months, and you made it. Keep going.
Thank you.
Danielle Shepard, assistant team engineer for the number 86 Norvo Nordisk car, driven by Charlie Kimball. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Fuzzy face one there is the guy you want to say. That's Darren. Say hello to him. Darren, somebody wants to say hello to you. I don't know exactly why. Tonight's show is presented also by Sam Pierce Chevrolet in Daleville, Indiana. You got to come to the country to see why the best prices, in fact, are in the country at Sam Pierce Chevrolet. You simply take I-69 north to exit 34, go east 1 mile, and you won't miss him. He's got a big place there. And one thing good about Sam, he doesn't stand behind you when he sells you a car. He stands alongside you. So give him a look. Sam Pierce Chevrolet in Daleville. If you want to know what these guys and gals like about driving an IndyCar, do yourself a favor. Go to Indy Racing Experience, pick out a date. When there's an opening, call 317-243-7171, extension 106, talk to Shonda. Or you can go online and in the promo box put SJ1. You'll get a 50% discount on the ride. And I'm telling you, it'll probably be the most exciting thing you've ever done in your life. Do you need some embroidery done on anything? A hat, shirt, shoes, jacket? Doesn't matter. Stitches 2 can handle it. They're located in Gasoline Alley and Speedway. Give Fran a call, tell her what you need, what you got, and she'll take care of it. Number is 317-271-3444. If you're looking for insurance for your home, your car, if you have commercial property, VP Insurance can handle it. Mike Pardee is taking care of me and a bunch of people in here, and he can take care of you. Let him give you a quote. You'll be surprised. You get better coverage for less money. And if you have a problem, he doesn't run and hide. He'll help you. He's located at 5004 West 16th Street in the beautiful town of Speedway. His number is 317-248-0070. That's VP Insurance, 317-248-0070. And if you happen to be a vintage car fan and like the old cars, you need to go to svra.com and subscribe to Vintage Racing Quarterly. It's a fabulous magazine. You find out who the drivers are and what cars are available and where they're running and all that kind of nonsense. And they also, Tony just bought controlling interest in Trans Am, and they have a Trans Am magazine that just came out. And if you're into that and like it, they've got a magazine that is second to none. So do yourself a favor, get it. Now my next guest is a gentleman who went completely out of his way tonight. He went out and got a shave.
Straight from the golf course.
Excuse me. He came from Europe, was a champion in Europe, came to America, drove in the IndyCar series for a couple of guys you may or may not have heard of. One of them was Chip Ganassi, the other one is A.J. Foyt. He retired from driving and started a business on the East Coast. Decided it was too quiet, no noise, no speed, sold the business and came back. He opened a simulator store up on the north side on about 62nd and Guyan, I believe. It was at iAdvance Racing.
Advance Motorsports.
Motorsports. As he was building the shop, I went up there. He's building walls. Next time up there, he's putting together the computers, the screens. I walk in one day and he's on his hands and knees putting in the floor. I said, if this thing goes down the tube, you can be a remodeler for construction. He is also, among other things, a full-time driver coach for a driver in the Indy Light Series. I think one of the neat guys around. Please welcome Mr. Darren Manning.
Thank you, Donald.
How was your golf game?
Not too bad. I played with. I actually had 2 days off from the missus the last couple of days, yesterday and today.
Does she know that?
No, don't tell her. She's not. Well, I think they are watching actually with the kids, Ethan and Sophia. So she did let me off. I played yesterday with AJ Foyt the fourth. Actually got fans.
No, wait a minute. The football season is underway. He's got to be doing
something. He's not doing anything with the football team. I guarantee you right now.
Oh,
the way his golf game is, he's not doing anything. Have you seen how good the Colts are right now? Sorry, AJ.
I don't know if it's ever occurred to him. Maybe they need him.
I know. No, he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
He's doing very well, and he's selling a lot of wine too.
He's Foyt Vault, absolutely. We keep buying the wine from him. And then today, played with an LPGA player that's getting ready for the Intech event in a few weeks or whatever. And Shelby Blackstock's in town, so. Played a little round with him, so yeah, played the most golf I've ever played this year in like 3 or 4 days, so it's been pretty good.
Is Shelby any good? Sorry.
Compared to a pro or me?
To you.
Well, I shot 77, he shot 89. How about that?
I'd take it.
That's all right. No, he's pretty good. I got him out of bed. We were supposed to be playing at like 9 o'clock or something, and I called the guys down at the Brickyard. We played at the Brickyard, and they said, well, if you can get here at 8:25, this is at 8 o'clock. If you can get here at 8:25, we'd like to pay you with this LPGA player and entertainer for 18 holes and offer your expert advice for 18 holes. So I told her how to hook it onto turn 3.
Did you entertain? The two of you guys entertained?
Of course. Shelby, you know Shelby? Yeah, he's very entertaining.
Well, how did he get away from building stages? What's with that?
Well, he didn't want to do it. I think that's the point and example. No, he's in town. He's got a girlfriend here in town, and
there you go.
Got a little bit of time with Ballard here in town. A race team, maybe he has to go visit every now and then, something like that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
How's your business doing? How's the sim business going?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, like you said, I'm coaching with Dalton Kellett in Indy Lights. I was working with Shelby and Dalton when they were both working with Andretti Autosport last year. Just Dalton this year. Working really hard, and he's really improved a lot. His results haven't quite shown it this year. But he's improved. We work a lot in percentage terms because racing's very difficult on a weekend to know how far you may be 5th on the grid, but you might be 2 or 3% off a fastest pole position lap, whereas you may be 10th place and you may be only half a percent off a pole position. So. Performance. We're kind of measuring our performance on percentage terms, and he's last year we were around 1.5% off a pole, fastest, that type of thing. No podiums. He's had 2 podiums this year, and pretty much every race is within 0.5%. So he's if not a lot closer. It's helped a lot with having 3 other teammates this year, especially with Colton and Nico, are very good. The team, all 4 engineers, there's 3 returning engineers and a new engineer at Andretti's Lights team this year from Schmidt, Doug Zister, who's brought a lot to the team to complement the current 3 engineers, and they're in their second year. So yeah, it's going well, and the simulator business is growing quite well. Got a couple of Pro Mazda guys, 2 or 3 USF guys, USF 2000 guys, and Dalton, and every now and then the odd, Indy Lights driver. So, and a lot of gentleman drivers. There was some guys that were running the Indy track because there was a Porsche day here at the down at the Speedway this weekend. So we were running some of those guys last week.
And there's a star here that ran at the Porsche with a Corvette. He ran the fastest lap he ever ran.
Nice work.
Yeah, he's
This weekend?
yes. He's sitting over there.
Oh, you don't need it. You need some time on the simulator, fella? Come on over. I'll make you even faster.
Do you have a lot of companies that bring
Yep.
people over there?
Yeah, companies and even just people that want to have a party. Ethan had his basketball team over there after they'd finished their season last year, his baseball team and things like that. So I really want to try and push that corporate event side of things. It's kind of difficult, especially this time of year. I've been away probably 8 weekends in a row to really promote and market to corporations and do the whole social media side of things and really know when I'm going to be available, because I obviously want some time at home and
Yeah, but
with
you
the
had time
family.
at home, and look what you got, a couple kids out of it. Maybe
Exactly. I know that the missus, she started up a home flipping business as well. So all that, she saw like you did. When I'm getting my hands dirty, doing things, building walls. She said you could probably fix a house. So, so that's what we've ended up doing as well. So many businesses going on right now.
You're a champion race driver. You came from Europe and were very, very highly touted. Are you getting the same jolt out of what you're doing now as you did when you were behind the wheel of a car?
Well, good point. Like you said, I got out of racing and set up a business with my wife over in Baltimore, totally outside of racing. It was making personalized wall art, and I was getting depressed. And being a racing driver, the whole golf thing as well. The competition with mates as well. I was playing a lot when I was driving. I was racing, competing and trying to get better as a driver, better as a golfer, or whatever it was. And then when I got out of racing, everything went away. I had to actually work for a living, which was a bit of a shame. Get up early in the morning and go to work, and have employees, all that kind of stuff. And it was 7 days a week, seeing as it was my business, and I really lost that. Camaraderie, that self-improvement, the adrenaline of making things better that you get when you're a driver. And I've really, okay, it's not driving, it's not the adrenaline, but also it's not the politics and the nonsense of, well, I've won every race so far in Indy Lights and I've won the championship, where's my IndyCar drive? And nobody's knocking, nobody's picking up the phone. But the politics, that side of things, I don't miss. But yeah, and getting back into it with Shelby and Dalton, working hard with the engineers, helping them, their relationships, seeing them grow, and them get better, and them competing. That's got my juices flowing pretty nicely.
I've been told Gary Bettenhausen used to be a driver coach, and he'd been out of a car for like 15 years when the Indy Racing League started, and a number of drivers hired him as a coach. And somebody said to him, "You've been out for a long time. It doesn't matter. You still enter the corner the same way. Mm-hmm. Your speed may be different, but this is what you have to do." Yeah. Do you find that in what you do, because you were very successful as a driver, that you could get that through the driver head and they listen to you because I think you're exactly right. Tires are, there's only one thing that's connecting a race car to the racetrack, and that's a tire. Whether it's a groove tire or it's a slick tire, it's a prototype, it's an endurance hard compound tire, whatever it is, you are still trying to load that tire in the correct way and get it loaded throughout that entire corner the correct way. And then you're trying to also relay that information back to the engineer to how to do it better. You've always got to, go beyond that limit of that tire in a specific way to know what you've got to do. Whether it's, you saw me down there at the SVRA, you talked about those guys, Tony and those guys at the vintage race, you saw us down there. And even those guys, they're on historic, groove tires. They're
I don't know how much they bloody weigh, but those Mustangs, they weigh a few ton, right? They're not an IndyCar. They're on leaf springs and terrible tires, but they're exactly, the techniques that those Indy drivers on that Legends race are using to drive those old Camaros and Mustangs are actually very, very, they're the same as an IndyCar. It's just aero is a little different, but you're still using that tire the same way.
Do drivers tend to listen to you? Hopefully.
When I slap them around a little bit, yeah,
Oh, okay.
No, I think I really like to prove myself, and the simulator. It's really interesting. You've been there, you've seen it, and things. And I always give the first hour free to anybody, and everybody's. A lot of these drivers, Shelby even. A lot of the young guys, they're all computers geeks, right? They've all got their own computer. They've all got a steering wheel and a set of pedals or whatever elaborate, simulator facility they've got at their own home. They may think that they're doing the same thing as what I'm doing with the simulator, and I let them go by themselves, and then I start asking them questions about what they're trying to. So tell me about what you did in that. I let them go for 10, 20 laps or whatever. Go out and do what you can. First time. Everybody. I do this with everybody, and they come in and then they start spouting off. Oh yeah, how were you trying to? I ask them, how were you trying to go faster? What were you thinking about? What were you trying to do? And they all start talking. Nearly everyone, I guarantee you. They start talking and they say, yeah, well, I was trying to carry more speed through this corner and do this, and they talk for about 20 minutes, and I'm like, okay, forget about all that, And then I really try, and then that's when I start to talk about how I work and simplifying it, and then they send them back out with something different to achieve. Very simple, and generally nearly 100% of the time it's simplifying it in whatever way that the individual driver needs, whether it's focusing on an apex point or braking technique. Very rarely it's racing line. That's kind of the last thing that I work on. And then they see, oh, actually, maybe he does know what he's. It's my time then is to prove what I know what I'm talking about.
How authentic is your simulator? Does it? Are you working on putting motion in your thing? And
that's a good point. So simulators. So it's difficult is selling what I'm doing, because like I said, there's kids out there that they've gone to Best Buy and bought a steering wheel and a set of pedals, and then there's the guys that have spent maybe 10, 20 grand on a seat and a nice set of pedals and things like that, and then there's the other end where there's the Dallara simulator or the Honda simulator. Massive hydraulics is like bigger than McGilvery's. It's multi millions of dollars, and everybody asks a very good question. How real is it? And I've driven them all as well, right? So I've driven Formula One, IndyCar, historics, go-karts, whatever, everything there and in between. So for me, whenever I drove a simulator, and before I built mine, right, it was, if I'm going to do this, the things that I have in my control need to be the same as the real thing. G-force and simulating, movement. Any simulator, unfortunately, Mr. Dallara, you spent $10 million on that big fancy rig down there. You can turn it off, and a lot of IndyCar drivers say the same, because if you've driven the real thing, you can't, until you've got a gyroscope that's spinning you up, round and round and round, and keeping that G-force going all the way through the corner and all the way out of the corner, just by tilting you and giving you what's called an onset of G. You can simulate that turning, but then unfortunately you're going all the way through the corner at like 45 degrees, and it's got to reset itself back down, right? So it doesn't feel 100% right. So for me, my simulator is my tool. I've got the best brakes in the business that can simulate as stiff or as soft a brake pedal. The force feedback through the steering wheel is strong. Probably can actually do probably double an IndyCar weight on the steering wheel, so it can actually be used as a training device. And some guys have done that. We've come and done Iowa. It's a very physical track on the oval, and you've got to do 2 or 3 hours around Iowa. We've cranked up the steering weight and said, off you go, see you in a couple hours, and they come out and they're sweating and their hands, it's the specific muscle groups. So yeah, it's the movement side of things, vibration and curb strike is probably the next level. But it's really just a tool for me, Again, I'm not selling the simulator as being the real thing. It's not the real thing, but you've got me. Have you got me sat beside you on a racetrack in the real thing? No. You could have me maybe at a corner and then looking through your data and then relaying that, trying to help you with your debrief back with your engineer and trying to make your car go faster. Yeah, you can get that from me at the racetrack, which is what I do with Dalton. But in the simulator, I can stop guys as soon as they've gone through a corner. I say, all right, stop there. Did you see what you did there? That's it happens all the time. We got the full data logging. Fast laps for myself. If another driver's faster, I don't drive the thing very often. I'm getting old git now. I'm not that fast anymore. But it's my tool. It's really, that's all it is.
So you don't think all that motion stuff is the cat's meow particularly?
No. and anybody who's driven the real, it's great, but you can stop trying to use it as trying to simulate the real thing. The G-force and the braking and accelerating. It's not it doesn't. It's great if you haven't driven the thing. It's like an expensive fairground ride, unfortunately, that costs $10 million. Ooh. So.
and you don't want to invest $10 million in your place?
No, and it takes several engineers to run it as well, and that's another thing.
I know there's one sitting right over there.
There you go. So yeah, absolutely, they can probably, you can probably, if Charlie's driven that thing, he's probably saying, well, it probably doesn't feel right or whatever. It's unfortunate, but. The next latest greatest thing is a miniaturized version of what Dallara have, and it literally is for vibration and curb strike to try and slight cue of a rear slip, if that makes sense. So like if you slightly lose traction, it will just kick the rear end. It's only like 2-inch. It's that, but it gives a driver maybe a little bit more sensation that you use in your feel as rather than just your steering and vision, which is all mine has, really.
How did you learn? Now, you drove a race car, and most people say, oh, yeah. People say to me, you do what? You talk about what? You drove a race car. Then you go into the business of artwork of a sort. Then you come back, and I see you on your hands and knees putting floors, building walls, and you built the simulator. You did all the computer work yourself, did you not? You did the whole damn thing.
I did everything, yeah.
Where did you learn how to do that? I couldn't turn on an Amazon Echo for Pete's sake.
You got to figure. I think, from when myself growing up in racing, right? It's a different motor racing world nowadays. I didn't have any money. Like people say they don't have any money nowadays. They, if they can afford a plane ticket, they had more money than what I did. My parents, they sold their house to fund my first year of motor racing, and ever since after that, I had to win to keep competing. Unfortunately, I managed to keep getting rides, and my manager had a race team that got me through, and it was all I did. And I had to, learn everything. I built my own shocks, repaired gearboxes, built engines, tuned everything. And because nobody else, because I couldn't afford anybody to do it. So if I wanted to win and I needed the best, I had to be the best at building my shocks and figuring it out, right? You know, and or I'd ask you how to be the best interviewer, or I'd ask I'd figure it out, and I wouldn't stop until I was the best at it.
You know, the thing that always impressed me, and I agree with what you did, there's a lot of drivers, and some of them have become legends, sitting and leaning against a wall.
Take AJ, right? He could build a race car, right?
Well, that was going to be my point. A lot of the drivers that are today legends, I'd watch them leaning on the wall, waiting for them to fix the car and bring it back.
Yeah, that's racing drivers. Unfortunately, it's how racing is nowadays.
But you took the time, as Foyt did, and you knew the car because you built it. You knew what it could do. You knew how to fix it.
Nobody else would. $0. Nobody works for $0. Don, I don't know about you, but I guess I do. Maybe you do as well.
Well, maybe you beat AJ and got some money out of him today. I don't know. But I think, that says a lot when somebody wants to ask you questions. You understand. You understand the suspension. You understand the braking. You understand the gears. You can tell them because you did it.
And just one more point on that. And if I don't, I'm not afraid to accept that I don't, because I'm still learning right now. We bring engineers along, and we got a meeting tomorrow morning at Andretti's with Dalton's engineer, and we're going to be going through video and setups and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not. I don't profess to know it all. Nobody knows it all. Dixie don't know it all. He's a good friend of mine. Scott. That's what makes him a good driver, because he's still willing to learn. He knows a lot, don't get me wrong, and he can do a lot, and that's what I thought where I was. But I still want to learn. I'll prick Danielle's brain or whatever.
Your kids, have they got an interest in racing, or they just want to go out and play golf with you?
They're watching, fella.
I'm
sorry. Talk baseball, soccer,
golf. How about
golf. Yeah, let's talk golf. Yeah, we need to get Ethan playing golf, get him a pro handicap, because if he shoots birdie every time, he's probably going to be pro, right?
Well, plus, they don't give scholarships to race drivers in college, but they do for golf.
No, you get $1 million for winning India Lights. You get like a couple of races or whatever.
Woo!
See ya. You're done.
Well,
you win the web.com tour. You're playing the PGA tour. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So.
Have you got him started yet with the lessons?
He's big lefty.
Really?
He's baseball. We were pitching tonight. He's pitching all years on travel teams and.
Really?
Yeah.
They give scholarships for that too, by the way.
Yeah. It might be a bit tough. I want him to play golf so I can try and beat him.
She was just telling me today, some guy I've never heard of, I don't know who he is, or I don't know who he plays for, signed a 5-year, $120-some million contract in baseball.
Yeah, where's the...
it's football. I'm sorry?
Baseball.
Oh, the Oakland Raiders, yeah.
Oh, football. Hey, see, you don't get that in motor racing. You don't hear that big news. Scott Dixon signs $120 million new contract or something, right? Chip's cheaper than that, I know. His salary's going down.
Yeah,
probably.
but the interesting thing about, speaking of Scott Dixon, when he came here, he sold stock in himself.
Mm-hmm. And Justin Wilson as well, a very good friend, right? He traded himself on the stock market in the UK, right, to get into Formula One, and that the whole motor racing, the way to go motor racing now is who do you know? Who do you know? Can I put those two guys together to make some money? You're a sales rep, and can I take a commission on the people that I know, or family that I have, or whatever? And that's fine. Tony Kanaan, right? He's bringing he's raising a lot of money and paying himself from himself, and that's how motor racing is now. I'm sure, Charlie, right? He's got diabetes. He's a spokesperson for those guys. There's a way to do a B2B between, and that's I didn't have to do. I didn't do that. And by the time I was like, oh man, I need to do something about this. I could raise some money and try and take it to a team and give myself a bit of cash as well. It was too late. I hadn't built that relationship for several years. I was just, I'm winning races. Give me a job. Yeah, silence, just like the room here, right? You know, like, that was it. But he's not like that anymore.
No, and I remember talking to Al Jr. a few years back, but I think the year before he retired, he said, I'm doing something I've never had to do. I said, what's that? Sell.
Yeah.
I got to bring a sponsor. I got to bring the sponsor.
You not only got to know how to build a shock, you not only got to know how to build a gearbox or read data, drive a race car, read a tire, everything that being a race driver, you've got to be good in front of a camera. You've got to be, say your P's and Q's right, so you don't get told off by Mr. Ganassi, and you've got to be a sales. Number one, you're probably not going to get a job next year if you're not a good sales rep, salesman.
And I've talked to a number of young drivers. What's your goal? I want to drive IndyCars. Do you have a resume? Do you have anything? Do you have a brand? I don't need that. Why? Because I win. That doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
You need.
It was tough enough when 20 years ago when I was trying to do it. It was very difficult back then, and I survived on nothing and gave up a lot, and I had a great manager and. That was running a race team, and he would run me, and my teammates wanted to be with his team because I was the fast driver, and they would have my data, and so on and so forth. So, because he had me, he attracted other drivers. That's the Cape Motorsports. I know the guys, they're the Brits, right? Yeah. The Cape Motorsports in Mazda and USF. Their mantra and their philosophy is we have to have a winning driver in our car. And the reason why is because people want to be his teammate, right. And they will pay top dollar to be his teammate. So they survive on Oliver Askew being in that car. And
Ricardo Juncos is right there with him, showing him how.
Yeah, same, exactly. I mean, that's awesome, right? He's going to bloody win the 2 out of the last 3 Indy Lights championships. We got 4 cars at Andretti's, and we, he's got 2 guys and an engineer. He's like, not even got a setup patch, and we're like scratching. How the hell is this guy beating us? Right? He's doing a great job. I love it. Racing. He's just going racing. And he's winning.
I went to his grand opening of his shop. And I walk in and I look around, and he comes walking. He said, "What do you think?" I said, "I'm going to tell you something, Sport. You've been here 12 years, and you came with nothing. I've been here 77 years. I couldn't buy that door." The man is smart, and he worked his way up. He came here with nothing. He worked on cars. He understands cars. He understands people. Mm-hmm. And guys that work for him love him.
Yeah, you say the right word there, work. If you're willing to work at it, you're probably going to be okay. But there's one thing for sure, if you're not going to work at it anymore, whether it's the B2B stuff or finding the funding or, networking the drivers, trying to get the right drivers in the car, if you don't work at it, you're not going to get any. If you just expect it, and I think that was where I maybe, kind of went wrong a little bit, but it was, I was on the list of drivers that wanted to get paid, and I hadn't got the resume of big companies behind me, and I was, there's Marcel, Buddy Rice, even Anthony Foyt, right, and several others that were on this side of the table, relying on our results. Maybe we didn't put the work in that we should have done early enough to try and get that funding to take to a team. So.
When are you going to sell a title sponsor for your simulator business? Seriously.
I wish, yeah. Is anybody out there sponsoring? I don't know what we're sponsoring yet, but...
AJ the Fourth.
He's all right playing golf and selling his wine.
Does he still have the...
He's going to sponsor his AJ Foyt the Fifth. Have you seen him? He's going to be a pro hockey player. Have you seen? He's got an ice rink in his basement. If he skates or rollerblades every day. He's 6 years old. He's playing U10 travel. He's just bonkers good at ice hockey. He's going to be a big hockey player. Yeah, it's cool, eh?
Can you imagine?
See, we don't want our kids to be racing drivers. Isn't it crazy? What a terrible world that is.
Starting at center for the Indianapolis Blades.
Yeah.
AJ
Foyt be Penguins, the Fifth.
AJ Foyt the Fifth. The audience is going to say, "Whoop! Exactly. You've got to be kidding." Oh, well, I think you... Do they still have their ice cream shop up in Nora?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, Huddles. That's right, yeah. I think you got a couple now, I think.
Yeah, I think he had 3, and I think it's back down to 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good guy. Nice.
He's got a
nice
lot of
guy.
kids now. He's just had his fourth, a little girl finally. He's got three boys and a brand new little girl.
He needs to get to up there and work instead of going home hanging around. I'm sorry, that doesn't.
That work? See, I know the word work. You mentioned that to Anthony, and he's probably not listening. But if he is, he doesn't know how to spell work, let alone say it. I guarantee. And you can quote me on that.
Wait until you get on the golf course the next time.
I know, yeah. He takes my money always, so don't worry.
He needs it, poor guy.
Yeah,
well, listen, to me, you're one of the more interesting guys because you've done so many things, but you've came back to what you truly love, motorsports in all forms, and taking the knowledge that you picked up over 20, 25 years of racing and translating it and understanding, because I think a lot of what you can talk to an engineer about, you understand because you built it. I mean, you made them. You understand, maybe not everything they say, but you got the picture. You understand it, and you understand what the driver's looking for and feels and all that. I think it's great, and I think it's fun to talk to you.
Thanks, fella.
Trying to find you, though, that's not the easiest thing. Now I know where to go out to the golf course.
It's this work thing. This is like work now, fella. Christ, I should be feed up watching the Cubs play or something.
Come on, no.
That's all right.
If somebody
I didn't need to get changed. You all right?
I noticed that. That's why I'm leaning back.
That's all right.
If somebody wants to take a ride in your simulator, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah, they can find us on the web, on Facebook, Instagram.
No, wait a minute. Ho. On the web.
iadvancemotorsports.com. The letter I, advancemotorsports with an S.com.
And on your Facebook is what? Same thing?
Same thing, same as Instagram. Instagram's IADV Motorsports. I struggle posting. I'm pretty useless at posting social media. I'll blame the wife. She should be doing it.
Well, that's right.
She's probably gone to bed now, so I'll put the kids
So
to
you
bed
think
at
you're
least.
safe, huh?
Maybe.
If they want to call and find out about booking the time and so forth, how do they call you?
Yeah, they can reach me on my cell. It's on it's on the website. It's 317-332-6309. It's on the website. You can give me a shout. You can book some time. Come and check it out. Have that free session and see if it's something that is a benefit to you. And I want the drivers to see the benefit. So.
But it's also designed for some Yahoo like me to have fun doing.
You wouldn't get in it.
I
got the crane out and everything. You wouldn't get in.
What in the hell did I invite you here for? Well, you're lucky because you give an hour free to start. I'd spend the whole time trying to get the car turned around, going the way it's supposed to.
Exactly. That's the most fun, watching the replays. Especially when they're drinking beer.
Do you have that up there?
Oh yeah, baby. There's always beer with me, fella. Sorry. No, I'm not allowed. Don't show that.
Oh, that's right. But your wife, you go, "Hi, honey." She'll,
yeah.
I know what you had.
I was in a bar.
Oh, okay. Thanks for taking the time. I always enjoy it. And, of course, he'll tell you, I do chase him from time to time. And I do have a cell number, but texting, which I don't like, will get your attention a little quicker. It's funny. I can text and they'll answer. I call, they don't answer. Now, what's with that?
It's on silent,
I know. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming.
Cheers, Don.
And good luck at the next outing with the Indy Lights and Dalton Collette.
Yeah, Iowa, St. Louis, and Watkins Glen, the last two races. So back to back. Should be fun.
Two podiums would look good on his resume.
Nice finish to the season. Set him up nicely for the next year.
There you go. What's he going to run next year?
That's his big topic of conversation. Now he'd like to do some. I'd like to see him do another season of Indy Lights, and he's progressed. From top 10 to top 5, the odd podium. I'd like to be more consistent top 5s, a few win races, possibly fighting for a championship next year, and maybe the odd IndyCar race. So we'll see what he can roster up funding-wise from his network of contacts. And, might not always be with Andretti. They've got a lot of cars in their stable. That's the unfortunate thing. He's trying to – I think they're already booked up for Indy. They've probably got 6 cars already with Stefan and I don't know who else, probably Alonso. And
it might be you.
Yeah. I can't get in those things. They can't pay me enough to drive that anymore. They don't pay anybody anymore. What are they talking about?
But you don't need a crane to get you out.
Hey?
You don't need a crane to get you out.
No, but they would. I've done a couple of laps. I'm sweating after 18 holes, let alone 18 laps.
Well, good luck with your next golf game, and thanks for your time. I
Cheers,
appreciate it.
Dom.
Always enjoy talking to you.
All right, fella, thanks.
Darren Manning. Don't forget, Advance Racing up at 62nd and Guyan. Take a ride up, take a look at what he's got. You'll be impressed. Next week, we'll be here. Oh, by the way, I want to mention, there's a young lady, Tody Rutman, sitting back here. She is the daughter of 52 winner Troy Rutman. I want to welcome her to Autosport. There's some guy with a camera. He's right in front. I almost forgot about her. But I thank her for stopping by. And next week we'll be here. Go to autosportradio.com website. And where it says the upcoming events, Autosport Radio, when I got a guest that'll be there. And but we'll be here next week. Want to thank Danielle for being here. Very interesting interview. Okay. If you want her autograph, you better get it now, because when she becomes big. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks for watching and listening. Until next week, Don Kay saying good night. See you next week.